Let me tell you more about Simformer business simulation. We have 25 industries, over 200 different products, and these are directly one way or the other interconnected. Some products are parts to the others, some products are final products that can be sold. You can either create electricity, you can either get the raw materials needed for the creation of the different products, you can create sub-products, or you can assemble final products like motorcycles, cars, telephones, television sets, and so on and so forth. So it's really up to how you form your business. As you log in, you have a full control of your company, either alone or part of the team. The essential part, how it works, that you will be interacting not just with the computer, in this case a limited algorithm, but you will be interacting with other simulation users. In this case, we created a certain environment to create virtual economy, a certain ecosystem if you prefer. The idea is that as real people will be interacting within simulation, making decisions and growing their business decisions. And as human beings are rather rational decision makers, there is a certain predictability moment that will come in, and the same predictability that is within real markets out there in reality. And thus, it will be a lot more difficult to crack so-called algorithms. As you will be dealing with real players, you will have to understand how they think. It will help you and prepare for your decisions in real-world business. Now, as you interact with other players, and as you make decisions, those decisions affect the overall virtual economy. Your decisions, your sales, the goods you sell, the quality you try to develop, the R&D levels, and so on and so forth. These are a lot of decisions, a lot of actions. And these, and actions of the other simulation users, affect the virtual economy as it is. Now, the question is, how is that achieved? In order for the simulation to work all the time, non-stop, we decided to make not only available worldwide, but also, as mentioned, to be working all the time. It works 24/7, 365 days per year. Every time and every day you log in, there's something happen, and we'll be able to do a certain effect, not only grow your business, but also influence the environment where your business is growing. And that's also competing with other simulation users. The simulation, multilingual one. There are more than one languages that is available on. However, it connects people with one single language, the business language, the decision-making, growth, profit, revenue, and asset growth. Naturally, to give you a little bit more of example how the simulation works and how the companies are created, out of 25 industries and possible different departments and companies, I would like to choose the motorcycle. There are a set of decisions to be made while managing pricings to be chosen, the location of the store, hiring people, managing your supplies, selling. Due to the repetitive process, I will be looking how the whole system works and how these decisions are interconnected, and how by changing certain things I receive different outcomes. As a result, after I have stabilized the company and I have income and stable growth of it, I can look forward to expand my business, open new stores. But I also most probably will be looking forward to open my own motorcycle factory, where I can assemble my own motorcycles, the ones that market needs. And this develops on as I will be opening new factories where I can manufacture parts for my motorcycles. If we go deeper to the roots, we will be going to the refineries that actually refine the raw materials into sub-products that are needed to create parts. Of course, getting my oil driven refineries or extractories that will be gathering ore or other materials needed to create sub-products. And thus, the whole value chain is created. Now, depending on the training product you are creating in order to train certain skills, you can focus only one part of this value chain, as mentioned before. I can either focus on the retail or just production line to see how the changing quality of the raw materials will affect the end and what kind of quality of motorcycle you will be able to receive. How the level of quality of equipment and also the level of competence of your employees will affect the production line, how fast and how well you will be able to react. As you can see, in the process of the development of virtual business within the simulation, there's a large variety of functions available for the users of the simulation. Either would be starting the business and choosing the company, the type of company you want to do, depending on your strategy, choosing the location, the professional, what kind of product it will produce, what kind of people you will hire, what kind of supplies you will choose, from who you will buy, and what quality of products you will be choosing. Naturally, you will have to analyze the markets. What kind of market you will be entering, what kind of good is a popular one and it is not, what kind of quality is needed. One, you have to choose the right price in order for the product to be sold and thus the consumer to be interested in. Naturally, HR, as mentioned, these are the people you will hire, because every company that you can create and open in Simformer Business Simulation requires people, and is a reality. Even no matter how much machinery you have, you will still need people to maintain that machinery and to manage the end result. And in the manufacturing, where you can open and see how you can combine goods, how you can hire in more people, fire people, see what kind of equipment you need, and how in the end you can receive the maximum quality with limited resources that you have. In order to raise the technological level of your production, naturally you need R&D, which is also a possibility to be developed in laboratories. Yes, as you are familiar with all the types and all these processes, and generally, you can start forming your strategy. Because entering different markets and choosing different kind of products and what to sell, or maybe what to produce and create self-sufficient business, you have to think strategically, you have to answer yourself certain questions, have to gather the plan your actions. In the process, you have to analyze financial questions. You will have fixed assets, you will have a limit of money to manage. The logistics is one of the processes that have to be taken into consideration, because you're dealing with not with one city, but generally with the set of countries, and basically a simulation of international world. There can be 33 countries with over 300 cities works. And in the end, when you will be managing your companies and your international global companies, you have to think through and plan your financial capabilities and all your actions. And now I will show you certain screens. Here you can see what kind of metrics there is available within the simulation. In the screen, you can see the data that is available and decisions that can be made within the store management screen. As you can see, there's a lot of information about the size, the location of the store, also the number of employees and how much they're paid, how efficiently they work. There's also popularity, there's also advertising, and the number of visitors. On the right, you can see the links that will open pop-ups, and there you can change parameters within the store in order to improve its efficiency. In the screen, you can see the trade hall of the store. This is exactly where you can see all the goods you're selling, how much you're selling. You can also order supplies and manage supplies from this screen as well, and also can see what kind of products you have in your warehouse that can be sold, as well as set up price and see the situation with the market. In the screen, you can see the list of suppliers. This is where you will be managing your supplies. If the situation requires, they can be computer-generated suppliers, and these have the globe icon near the name. However, there are usually a lot more than enough suppliers available in the market. And as you can see, these have different price and quality propositions. In the supply list, you can access all the contracts you have with your suppliers. You can see the products you have currently in your warehouses, and at the same time you can see what kind of contracts you have. You can also track the changes in certain prices or quality of the supplied goods. Thus you can either cancel the contracts or you can increase the amount you order from this or the other supplier. The personnel management screen. Here you can hire, fire people. You can set up their salaries that will affect their qualification, and naturally you can either increase the salaries, or you can choose to train them to increase their qualification. In the process, you can always also see lower there that there is a certain statistic given what is the average qualification in the city, and also qualification is needed in order to provide certain services. It is a lot more important in the case of production management. You can also set certain goals for your personnel department in order to maintain certain quality of services provided, or in other words, to maintain certain qualification among your employees. Last but not least, this is the interface you can access in your factories. Now you can see here the products that can be produced by certain factories, and also the output, how much of which of product can be produced, and what kind of quality will be produced, and what will be the basic cost of that product. Naturally, you can also see what kind of quality and cost and quantity of goods already produced, already in the warehouse, and will be available for the selling, as well as you can track the orders and the price, set the price as well. Here you will also be able to choose the selling strategy. In other words, either you want to sell this only to your own companies, or to other companies, any client, or the specific companies that you have an agreement with. Lower there you can see a certain hints the system will give you how and you should manage your spare parts or materials to receive higher quality of end product. There are a lot of different functionalities within management of the virtual companies within Simformer Business Simulation. There are a lot of decisions to be made, a lot of edges and levers that can be pulled or pushed in order to receive different results. But one thing does not differ. It's decision making. Depending on what kind of training program that will be created and what kind of skills are supposed to be developed, there will be different tasks and challenges. However, as in reality, every time we repeat the same process. First of all, we analyze the situation and the things we have right now under our disposal in order to make certain processes to happen. So we make decision after analyzing the data, and we have some sort of result afterwards. We implement our decisions. In our simulation, recalculation is a process which takes up all the decisions of all the participants of simulation and calculates possible solution, what will be happening and will be changed. After recalculation, a new turn of the game starts, and thus a certain results are given. You will see either you have done well or not. The cycle can thus you analyze the data you have received in the form of results, and also as you see as the dynamics within the market is different, either changing, and what kind of environment it is. How well you're doing and what kind of things you have to change in order to have better results. Analysis process continues, is repeated. Once again, action plan is created or updated or not changed if it not needed, and then implemented in the Simformer Business Simulation. We wait for the recalculation, new turn, new possibilities, new data, new research and analysis, and then once again updates for the action plan. And the process continues on and on. And for the educators and trainers, the evaluation comes in two steps. One, to see what kind of decisions were made with the information available at the moment, and then later on, what kind of result it did generate. In other words, by making action plan, the participants of the simulation make some sort of assumption or a guess. And naturally, after the recalculation on the other step, we assess how well they did and how well they managed to use the situation to their advantage. In order to make decisions, a lot of data is needed. And as there are a lot of actions implemented in Simformer Business Simulation, and there's a lot of recalculations, a lot of operations, and a lot of data. Change the whole range of different various reports, starting with the inside financial part, where you need to optimize your performance, especially as the business grows and the amount of companies grows. You take in consideration that data in order to optimize the performance of your company. Further on, as you will be looking forward to increase your share of the market, you will have to analyze the market data, how well you are prepared to be competitive, or maybe there's something lacking. How is the market changing? How are your competitors reacting? How is the end consumer reacting? And naturally, your personnel as part of the market, it will be changing as well. Thus, you will need to be sure that you have exactly the right people for the job in your company. Naturally, as the environment is dynamic and the local virtual economy is dynamic one, and a lot of activities are done, and thus provisions you receive and the supplies you receive are created by other people, there are chances that they will make mistakes. And there are changes there as well. So you have to be sure that we will be receiving all the necessary goods in time. Otherwise, your activities will stop. And that is a very sensitive question, no matter what kind of business you're managing. Either that would be production, services, or in a retail. Looking for a better price and quality proposition in the market is also a very sensitive question. When you are competing with others, sometimes it's good to take a look at how market leaders actually analyze how they build their business, and you can learn a thing or two from them. As you grow your business and expand to foreign markets within the simulation, you can see that different countries not only have different size and different size of population, but they also have different average salaries. Within not only regions but cities as well. They have different taxes, they have different education levels, they have different wealth index. That means their buying power is different as well, which means their priorities by buying certain goods will be different also. So there are a lot of data to be taken into consideration when you're creating your strategy and looking for the perfect market to enter. So as you see, there's a large variety of reports, pretty close to what we have in reality. But in order to make the right decisions, you need to analyze all that data. Simformer business simulation, being so big, allows us a large different training and educational courses to be created. This is the main list of things we can create in order to help people train or learn. Either these can be trainings for different kind of level of management, developing and focused on developing different skill sets. It can be business games and training courses aimed both academia and aimed to teach and create practical skills and pass on different knowledge. Professional orientation, again, is suited for young ones that need to understand what business is in general and to help them find their future profession. Personnel assessment is very important when you need to evaluate your personnel, not only to evaluate future employees, and that's recruits, but also if you're growing and you need to find the talented people within organization already that could take a position higher, or you want to see what kind of talents they have and what kind of skills need to be developed further on. And finally, for the events where there are competitions, Olympics, and there is a need for business skills to be developed in a group, a certain fun and drive element needs to be implemented, well, there we have it. Of course, I believe you will be interested to know how, in what way, these can be developed into a final product. Business game Corporation in Distress is all about testing and teaching players about how to manage a corporation, as already said, given to them and already set up, how to manage and put it out of the crisis and develop to be profitable one in order to win the competition with the other players of the group. Now, naturally, there are certain challenges. A lot of decisions need to be made. But that is a very good example of how strategical management can be implemented and how stress can be created when we limit the amount of time given. Further on, academical course, risk management. As you develop your business, there are a lot of risks. As in reality, same way it is in Simformer business simulation. As you're dealing with real people, their mistakes generate a certain risk that you will not receive certain goods or certain services, which means you will be getting losses because you will not be able to provide your own services to other clients. There can be inner threats and naturally risks that need to be evaluated. As you do certain mistakes within their business, there's certain outcome that is generated, certain losses, and thus all the actions can be taken into consideration on what kind of possibilities and what kind of risks they. The improving of teamwork, considering that that team is connected only remotely, is a big challenge. It's very easy to work with your colleagues if they sit in the same. As people are connected only by internet and are far away from each other, optimizing business performance can be quite difficult. Exactly within this training, team members that actually are literally far away from each other have to coordinate properly in order to optimize the performance of the company. Naturally, personnel assessment is one of the things that is available due to certain solutions within our games, and exactly to see what kind of tasks can be managed efficiently or not, and how well your employees will deal in certain risky situations and where the stress is generated quite a lot. Also, your employees and you will see what kind of skills need to be developed. As well, the final product, which is highly recommended for those who have great products and want to find how to implement them and how to sell them efficiently. At the same time, if you're creating your own startup, once again, listen up, this one is exactly for you. You have a good product but don't know how to do business, then all those 10 steps, you will need them to understand how business works. Even if you have a good product, doesn't mean you will have a chance to make a good company, because, well, it's not an easy task. But after these courses, you will know how and where certain threats lie. Now, as you see, there are different products, but these different efficiencies and different challenges are created by not only mixing traditional teaching methods with the Simformer business simulation and thus receiving new innovative solutions for education, but also within the simulation there are two types of servers that you can use. SBS class is a simulation type where turns are made daily, which means your participants, and mostly this is used for education students, thus the time is given to analyze data and make decisions. SBS Fast, however, is more often used by the turns are made hourly, thus the time is not, and there are a lot of operation tasks that have to be managed, and thus stress is generated through a limited time. The only thing the participants of the game can control is their own decision in order to achieve maximum best result. And thus, depending on what kind of courses you want to create, you can choose one of these two. As Simformer LMS demo account, you can access Simformer Business Simulation, the fast mode. Here, you can explore how it is used and how you can create certain businesses and how you can develop them. Also, we created a certain set of templates you can try out and see how different kind of company structures affect the results and action plans that need to be implemented, and how it can create different working environments, teaching and learning and working environments while testing certain skills or developing those skills. Take your time and explore Simformer Business Simulation.